Hi, in this video, I'll be talking about dating after breast cancer or during breast cancer treatment. When you go through treatment for breast cancer, you can feel so vulnerable, and breast cancer can become such a big part of your life that the other parts of your life kind of get shoved apart. And if you're a mom, you're a friend, you're a daughter, sister, you might be taking care of parents, you're at work, you've got so many other roles. And now you want to start seeing somebody, you want to have intimacy, you want to have close relationships with people. How do you go about doing that? I'll be talking about some considerations. These are things I've learned from my patients that I find really helpful in talking with others. So I am going to share those with you now. First of all, you're a person who happens to have had breast cancer. You may consider yourself a breast cancer patient or a breast cancer survivor. That may be part of your identity, but there's so many other facets to who you are. There are so many other things interesting about you. And sometimes we can let one part of our identity squish the other parts out, and we feel like that's all I am. Especially if you've been, what I say, doctoring a lot. You've been going to medical appointments and you're wearing pink, you're garbed in pink, and everybody's sending you pink angels. It just feels like it's filling your home and filling all of your energy. It's not the only part of you. You don't have to let your breast cancer history define you. Or if you're living now with breast cancer, there's still so many other things about you, even though it may not feel that way based on how much time you spend thinking about your diagnosis and dealing with its treatment. But if you're ready to reach out and you're wondering, how do I date? How do I get to know people, even create close friendships in a world after or during breast cancer? So there are a few things to keep in mind. One is that this is your personal history. This is your story to tell. So it doesn't have to be how you introduce yourself, either in person or online or on social media. It can be just a bullet point in your life, maybe a very large bullet point. I don't want to minimize it, but you get to decide when your story is told. Now, this can be hard because if you're becoming friends with somebody or you're becoming close to them, secrets can also be really disruptive. Secrets can erode away at trust. So at some point, you'll want to tell and disclose your story, most likely. Now, you may wonder, is it any of their business? Well, it is, because it's part of your story, just like any trauma or major event you've gone through in life. This is part of your story, and it most likely shapes, if we think about your life as a book, the chapter of breast cancer most likely affects the rest of your story. We don't want it to define it, but it's going to play a role in your story. So if you're not comfortable talking about your history, any part of your history with a potential partner, maybe this isn't the right person for you. Maybe it's not the right friend, or it's not the right intimate partner for you. If you feel that this is a relationship, someone you want to get to know better, and you feel that you can trust them, put yourself in their shoes. Remember that this may come as sad news to them. It may be like your very own first time you heard the diagnosis. So yes, this really is your story, and it doesn't need to define you, but this is going to interrupt their story with you. They may have a history of cancer in their family that they automatically transfer to you. So let's think of somebody who lost their first partner to a chronic disease, whether it be cancer or another illness. They may instantly feel fear at the thought of losing you. Or if they had an ill parent, that may, of course, have colored their story. So you may want to find out a little bit about them. They may have a chronic illness they haven't told you. You may want to find out their relationship to illness, wellness, their family's history before you just talk about this straight away and expect them to be able to absorb it. It's really any trauma in your life is going to have some reflection in the way they've grown up. We are not blank slates. again, you're here, you're the most important person to me right now, but to avoid rejection, to avoid somebody being shocked or instantly withdrawing, it's helpful to put your story in the context of what their story might also be. The other thing is, you might want to practice talking about this with a good friend. So you might want to play out different scenarios with somebody who can practice you disclosing your breast cancer history with them. So they'll give you feedback. They can just nod and say you're doing a great job. You don't want the first time you tell your story to be with the person that you feel particularly interested in. And this is as much about forming good new friendships as it is more romantic or intimate partnerships. Because sometimes we do something called trauma dumping, where we just, no matter the situation, we just talk about our trauma without knowing if the other person is in a place or time to receive that information. And caring for yourself and getting good care for anything you've been through that's been traumatic about this experience is a priority, I think, before you start reaching out and forming bonds of interdependence with another person. I would encourage you to prioritize yourself. People might say to you, well, you look great, time to get out there. If you're not ready, you don't have to. Don't let fear hold you back. But if you're still actively healing, this may not be the right time. You really want to prioritize your health, your physical health, mental, social, and psychological health, and reestablishing friendships before romantic relationships may be a priority. You may need to mend a relationship with somebody, or you may need to hear a heartfelt apology from somebody before you can reach out again and make yourself vulnerable. In terms of how to find somebody, to date, there are no special rules for people with who've had breast cancer and its treatment. Finding common interests is the best way to find a good potential partner. Volunteering with an organization you care about, getting involved in politics, meeting people through your kid's school, great way to meet people. Think of all the movies you've ever watched, all the rom-coms you've ever watched. How people meet people is often by chance. But you can also get the word out to your friends that you're open to dating. Is there anybody they think you might be interested in? So, my husband and I were set up on a blind date. So there are lots of ways that we meet people, and there are no special rules after breast cancer or during breast cancer for finding a potential partner. What you might want to find yourself doing is being a little more selective about who you spend time with, because breast cancer has a way of distilling out what's most important, doesn't it? Really, any serious change in our life makes us focus on what's most important, and that may be your children, that may be your health, that may be your job, that may be finding a new job, that may be forming a network of people you feel safe with after the disruptions of breast cancer. But if you're ready, there are lots of opportunities for you. I hope this has been helpful. It's sort of a different video for us, but if you want to learn more about what breast cancer treatment might be offered to you, visit yerbba.com for your personalized report, and click like or subscribe so other people going through similar things can find this video. And as always, drop us a comment or a question below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.